Yeah, with the whole Luigi, is it
Mangione.
which it sounds like a made up fucking Italian person. Like that's like a made up like character, like Luigi Mangione. Like okay, cool.
What about Moltasante?
But I think the reaction to him shooting that CEO, I think that is what did it say? It's like some kind of a bell or like
Signal.
yeah, I just see a signal. Yeah, of where people are when it comes to dealing with not just the healthcare system, but just like
I think it shows where we are culturally.
Yeah.
The fact that we are willing to like just ignore the fact that, hey, this person did like a really violent, horrible thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, like if you want to get mad at the system, get mad at the fucking system. Like you're going to pick this one guy, you know, who had kids and like had a family, you know, and I'm not saying that he was the best guy. There's maybe plenty of ways that he was shitty in his own right. Doesn't mean you have the right to just go kill him. And I think, there was a Saturday Night Live clip where they announced it, and the entire crowd roared in applause, and even the hosts were like, "Whoa, this is wild." I don't know, I don't know if that's okay.
No, absolutely. And I think what it's really demonstrating is, especially in this country, which, and again, I'm a capitalist. I totally believe in, you know, hey, make your money, get your bag, all that thing. But also there's some industries where you need to have like checks and balances on it, and it can't, because you're dealing with people's lives here, right? This is like the one thing that you have is your health. Jeez.
Get the fuck out of here, bro. Ruining the goddamn podcast. Okay, sorry.
No. Cats crazy.
Cat's crazy.
But I mean, I think what it's showing, like once you push people to that edge, if this is not like, and we can talk about, you know, pharma and things like that, but like when it's like when they were talking about rationing the amount of time that you can be under anesthesia before they start charging you extra, and then all of a sudden, I forgot what healthcare company it was. I'm not even gonna say it, but the healthcare company that was just the health insurance company that was talking about that, they stopped that policy right after this happened, because they realized how pissed off people are, because you are fucking with not just like my life, but the lives of the people that I love. And like, what am I gonna say? No, hey, wake up, Coleman, during his surgery, because it's getting expensive. Wake the fuck up. Does he need to have, you know, does he need a double bypass? Can we just do one bypass? Can we just like combine them into like you can't do that shit, you know, because as a corporation, you have a profit model, and that's what people become. And you have a duty to, like, you have to make money for your shareholders. That's your duty.
Well, it's not even that. You have a certain amount you have to spend.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're a corporation, if you want to remain in this field, you have to spend, even if the money isn't, like, even if that's not there, right? Yeah. Like they will create that themselves and inflate things, and
exactly,
you know.
Yeah. And I think like the biggest point that I want to make is just like, so when, like, as a corporation or somebody who's working for a corporation, you know, especially a public corporation, you have to make money for your shareholders, and your only really duty while doing that is not to break the law. And so when you have a, you know, and so I mean, the duty of loyalty is like, you know, I be loyal to the company, make money. Duty of care, that's more so just like, don't do illegal shit.
Yeah, well, or not even that. Like, don't do immoral shit.
No, don't do illegal shit. Immoral shit. You like tobacco companies. Like if like, so if I'm a lawyer for a tobacco company and I see a report that says, yo, what we're selling is killing people, my job is to either kill that report or dispute that report. That's not illegal. It's immoral as fuck, sure. But my job is to defend the company. If I don't like it, leave. But then what happens when these laws start interfering with either the money of the shareholders or what we can do? Maybe it's time we need to buy some politicians and change these fucking laws. And so that's when you have that, like, that creep into, and that's why our Congress, like this what the you know, corporate donors, they spend so much money because like, as long as what we're doing is not illegal, we're covered. You don't have to like what we do, but I can't charge you. It's not a crime to be an immoral person if you're not doing anything illegal.
Yeah.
Like if I went there and I was like, I don't give a fuck about,
Well, I don't even like if you were like a head of a tobacco company and you found a report that was harmful and you continue to sell that, I don't even necessarily think that's immoral. I mean, there's a consensual, like if you work at Olive Garden and some fat fuck comes in, they want Alfredo sauce. Like if they want just a bowl of Alfredo sauce and they want to drink it, right? Like it's not immoral to give them that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that like if there's a mutual, as long as it's mutual, as long as there's a mutual agreement, a mutual exchange, that's as far as the morality goes.
Yeah.
As long as nobody's rights are being imposed on, like as long as you're that person isn't doing something that's like gonna hurt some, like right.
But with healthcare, it's different because then you're in a very vulnerable position. Like what are you gonna do? Not have your tumor removed? Not have your arm fixed, or what? Not have them take care of your sick kid?
But I mean, I think that's just reality at the end of the day.
But then that's when you have really pissed off people who are like,
sure, yeah,
and so I think that's when the job to go, because like you're, and the only reason that they'll react to something being so immoral is when it hurts their bottom line. If it's immoral and they get away with it, they don't give a fuck. Yeah,
exactly.
But I mean, if it was United Health, if you're gonna let little Timmy die, they're not gonna do that. But 50-year-old Timmy, he's getting expensive. He's a fat old white man. Who's really gonna care? But outside of Timmy's family, nobody. But then there's a build up to that. Like once you do enough of that, then you have this this kind of reaction. And so I think that's let a lot of companies know that maybe we should really try and not just, be moral in the way of, hey, look, we have a black DEI officer. See, we're not racist.
I mean, and you might maybe disagree with this, but like I think a big part of the problem is like the lack of choice that people have in their healthcare.
Sure.
Like, if you, let's say you go for United Healthcare and your premiums are up through the roof, and then you see like the guy we said, the 600-pound guy is going into the fucking drinking Alfredo sauce, right? And he's going to the doctor twice a week because his heart's fucked up. And you're like, why the fuck am I paying for that guy? Like, that's why, in my opinion, healthcare should be privatized. That way, if like there's actual supply and demand. Hey, I have a tumor. I need this. Okay. We'll see, like, and you can maneuver the market, find what's there, find what's available. It's not a utopia. Not everybody's going to get what they want, but I think that's going to be a much fairer and much more just system than this crazy corporatized healthcare system where we have numbers that we need to make. We need to, like, if you have $200,000 they need to spend and you can only spend 150. Oh, okay, we're going to create sick people. We're going to create problems. We're going to create things that then, give people less and less and less choice in their healthcare. So that's kind of my spiel on that, I guess. But
yeah, and I think I get where you're coming from, but also, I mean, if it's completely public, let me go back to pre-Obamacare denying people or charging them up the ass because they have pre-existing conditions. Like, hey, I did not choose to have stage 4 cancer, or I did not choose to have this chronic disease or whatever. I mean, it's genetic. I'm sorry, and so. I think with the healthcare, it's something because we're all gonna get old if we're lucky, and we're all gonna get sick, and we're gonna need help. And you're in such a vulnerable position, especially like if you're a poor kid and your dad makes your decision, you get sick. It's like, oh, sorry, your dad's that piece of shit. Now you die. Like we can't have that. And so I'm more for like a public-private model where if you want to get the premium shit, sure, get all that. But this country is too fucking rich for us not to have a baseline for everyone. And I think you can tie this in to even like the border argument. Like, we'll take care of people who are here, and it can get really expensive if we take care of everybody. But like, if we secure the border and we know who's coming in, and we still need people in this country. Like, and again, I'll see that as like we need people coming in, but coming in the right fucking way. And so, but once you have that system, hey, the baseline is we'll take we'll take care of everybody, but if you want more, elective shit or things like that, or you want, you don't want to see the doctor who went to, whatever, you want to see the Harvard doctor, sure, pay for that, pay for all of that. But the fact that, I mean, there's something that we're all going to be subject to, and I think I even got a little I'm more biased towards that model because, my son was in the NICU. Like, I've never felt more powerless in my life than at that moment. There's nothing I can fucking do. Like, there's nothing I can do but rely.
But don't you think part of the reason why there's nothing you could do is because that same system made it so expensive?
Yeah.
So, but I guess this is always kind of my argument against it. It's like the same, like, you want checks and balances, but the same, like, you're talking about like pre-Obamacare.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, despite people getting denied coverage, that overall was still a way better system than we have now. I mean, the healthcare system we have now is awful.
I'm at the point of I think we should get rid of what we have now, and have a public option with. And if you want to, have your own private health insurance, if you want to, you need to have some kind of public option to where you're not just having people, just essentially just like.
I guess I just don't think that's possible to even reach that.
I mean, we have so much fucking money in this country. It's all in Ukraine. It's all in 2,000-pound, fucking bombs and shit. But I mean, this could also be an area where we just disagree.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm sure we do.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that also kind of ties into like the inflation of the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, we have more money, we really don't have money. It's like inflated, and like we're in debt, and like, I don't know. I think a lot of these prices are inflated. And I think if we had things, and I think the reason we have that is because of the public sphere.
So should let the corporations decide?
No, well,
because we're going private, then that's
not necessarily corporations. It's just a business. The reason a corporation is a corporation is because of that same public entity. That government, that same thing is what fuels that.
So then we have private corporations, private companies, or let's just corporate.
What?
I mean, isn't that just a corporation deciding on what to do?
Look this up. Look this up, Pedro. But corporation, you need to make a certain amount of money to be a corporation.
Yeah, to be a corporation or to be a public corporation. Yeah, I mean that's when you have those duties to make money for your shareholders. And when you get
bro. Which is fine. I'm just
no. But essentially, like a corporation is essentially a legal entity that exists with the sole purpose of, if it's a public corporation, for making money for its shareholders. A public corporation, you still have to make money, and the way you make money is essentially by being cheap. And I think that's the incentive that, like, we don't have a healthcare system. We have a health insurance system in this country where everyone tries their best to make money. We'll charge everybody more. Who gets fucked over? The people paying the premiums, which is why I can pay a bunch of premiums, and then we can have a loophole to get the fuck out of paying your bills. We get the premium. You get as little care as we can give you. We've done our job per the contract.
But the problem is those people don't have an option to opt out. The reason they're trapped in that is because that is their only option. Because that is, when you have a public sphere, when you have one option, one standard, when you don't have a competitive market, when you can't say, hey, that healthcare system's fucked up, I'm going to go to Bob's healthcare and get healthcare from Bob because he has a better price. When you take out that option, I think it leaves more people disadvantaged and just they're gonna have a worse time with the healthcare system than if it was privatized.
Oh, I mean, I think you price people out then, right? What about the people who can't afford the?
There will always be a market. Aldi and Whole Foods. There's always going to be a low market. There's always going to be a high market.
Yeah, and if
you have a free market, prices don't increase; they decrease over time. You look at look at TVs, right? TVs when they came out, super fucking expensive. Now I could get a TV bigger than that for less than $200 probably. That's just how economics works. So when you have a public sphere of healthcare, there's no means for healthcare to get cheaper. It will always keep getting more and more and more expensive because they have to create a demand. If the demand isn't there, they have to say, okay, like I said, we need to spend $200,000. Oh, there isn't $200,000. We're going to create something to make $200,000. We're going to make it more of a problem. We're going to make, here's this. We have a new virus. Now you need to get vaccines. You need to get medical. All that. Like we're just going to create these things that make it more expensive for everybody, and then people have less accessibility to healthcare than you would think.
I hear everything you're saying. My pushback to that is every country that's healthier than us and has better healthcare outcomes has that public-private healthcare system.
They're also way less free.
I mean, sure, but are we trying to make sure we have healthy people or make money? Like, I think that...
I think freedom is the most important thing.
Yeah, and you're free to live and die, and you can... free to die outside the hospital.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm more of the level that you need to have a certain amount of baseline, as most countries agree on. We're a rich country. We are not going to let people just die because they can't afford it. If we go totally private, people did that all the fucking time. People would
I just think that's
ration healthcare. People would ration their medicine because you will price people out. You have Aldi's, you have Whole Foods, and you have people who can't fucking afford to go buy their groceries.
Yeah,
and then we have food banks for those people. Like we're not just gonna let people starve in the street. And so the way the public option, and again, I'm not talking about having premium healthcare for everybody. I'm talking about having a certain standard that we say, hey, we are not going to let people die because they are too poor to afford healthcare.
I just find that to be a short-sighted viewpoint. I like, yes, in the you can make the argument that like if you're giving people these things in the short term, that could help them in the short term. Long term, though, it's going to make everybody way more worse off. I mean, look at welfare.
Yeah, but also, look at somewhere like Japan, or look at a large country, or like Germany. Germany has that private-public option. Do they? They have better outcomes. Their drugs don't cost as much. Their surgeries don't cost as much. Because when you let corporations just do whatever the fuck they want, they will, and then we all just become members. That's why United Healthcare, like the CEO, they made the most money by denying the most claims.
Okay, well, let me rephrase that. I think in a free market that wouldn't happen. If you had other options, if you do this, we're gonna fucking pull out. People aren't like. You need a business. Like if you want to have this big powerful business and you want to do all these, like let's say you have nefarious motives and you want to do all these fucked up things, you need people for that. You need customers. You need people. You need employees. Yes, with the automation stuff, maybe that would take a lot of that out. But even with that, you still need customers. Like businesses, when it's just a free market, when it's just purely people on people on people rely on each other. When you have a public sphere that doesn't rely on anything, that's just there, that is just this like black hole of money that we can just keep putting in, which then inflates the dollar and then just makes everything more expensive for everybody. Like I just don't. And we can, we're gonna disagree on this, and we can move on. But
this is a big.
That's just kind of
No, and I get where you're coming from. My thing is I don't trust corporations to not do whatever the fuck it means to make money, which includes eating other corporations, becoming monopolies. To where United Healthcare, if they can do whatever the fuck they want, and we have to compete against a little guy here who's charging less money, how much to get the fuck out of the game? We'll pay you. We'll buy your company. We'll absorb you. And then we'll charge whatever the fuck we want, because then we don't have to compete with you anymore. If it makes financial sense, they'll do it. Because then people still need healthcare, right? The demand is still there.
Yeah.
And there's fewer suppliers because we can price them out or we can buy them out. And what if we take losses for a year, steal all their customers? They have no fucking money. And now, hey, remember that offer we gave you last year? That offer is lower. And you're 6 months from bankruptcy. You want to get out now? Or do you want to still compete with us? We can still, we're liquid for another 5 years. We can take these losses. You fucking can't. And that's how corporations work. And so I think, and that's all good and well when you're talking about technology or products, things like that. When you're talking about people's lives, I think that warrants a different analysis because we all only have one life. Like we can't, you can't substitute your healthcare. if I don't like what Coke is selling, I can go buy. I can go buy
Sure.
fucking Pepsi. But like, I need heart surgery,
Yeah.
and it costs this much.
But there's a market in that too, though. I mean, you have a problem. There are various different options for the problem.
Yeah.
It's not just a one solution type of thing.
Ideally, but if corporations do whatever the fuck they want, it's their incentive to make sure that they're the ones selling the product. And if it goes down to a certain level of like, because then you can sell a shitty product and give people a shitty product. If the price goes to a point where now we're just having people who barely fucking finished med school operate on people, like that's negligent. Like that's and then if a small company gets in trouble, here comes a big company, buy them the fuck out, get him out of the game, and now there's less suppliers, probably more demand, price goes up.
We can move on for this, I guess. But I don't think that it would necessarily work out that way. I don't believe in the idea of monopoly. I think it's a leftist myth. I think if you actually look at things in the free market, they actually get cheaper. When you have more competitiveness, there's more options. I don't think that you would have this big thing where it's like corporations are buying up everything and they own everything. Like I just don't view that as being. I think the reason that is a reality is because of the same thing that argument is appealing to. I guess that's my point.
Okay.